Hi, in this video we are going to explain the concept of a workflow route. I'm currently looking at a VAT job. So that's a job in the VAT workflow system, and this particular job is on the route that is referred to as standard. Now, if you only ever have one workflow route in each system, the concept is perhaps not too relevant. But when you come to want a second or third workflow route, then of course it's very important. The route is in actual fact the combination of steps going from starting from the point at which the job's created and passing through the different relevant stages until completion, along with the custom job fields and the deadlines. Together they form a route, and the really important concept is that you can differentiate this. You can have different routes for different clients. So if we jump to this tab and have a look in the editor, I've gone to Config, Edit Workflow Systems. I've come into the VAT returns. Now there's various videos that show you how to add stages, add job fields, add deadlines, and you'll have noticed in all cases that you create the field on the Workflow Elements tab, but that in order for it to appear on your job card, you have to add it to the workflow route. That's because whenever a job is created, the system will create that job on a particular route. So here is my standard workflow route. You can rename these routes, you can call them whatever you like. And what it does is it first of all shows you the deadlines that you have on this particular route. And it shows you the data fields, custom job fields that you have on this route, potentially triggers as well, alert message triggers. The really important bit is really the workflow steps. So each workflow route has to start from the point of creation. When the system creates a job, it will find the step that goes from creation, and it will do whatever that step tells it to do. In this case, it's moving the current stage of that job to the stage to request books and records, and it's also executing a workflow action to set the current holder to the manager. What you'll then find is that for every stage that you pass through, so following the chain, if I find the step to request books and records, we will have either one or more blue progress buttons. So on to request books and records, I have info requested. So if we look back at our job card, we are currently on the stage to request books and records, and we have the blue button info requested. That button has moved us on to awaiting books and records, where we have two progress buttons. So looking at that in the config, we can see that pressing that button moves us to awaiting books and records, and on that stage we have the two buttons. So why might you want more than one workflow route? Well, that's where you want to avoid having an extra workflow system, but the reality is that you have some differences in groups of your clients. It might be, for example, on the accounts workflow that you wish to have a workflow route for incorporated and unincorporated, or perhaps for on-site jobs and off-site jobs, or for audit jobs and non-audit jobs. It may be that from a service perspective you differentiate your processes for A clients, B clients, and so on and so forth. You can really have as many workflow routes as you like. So let's very quickly create another workflow route on here. I'm going to come to the bottom, and the quickest way to do this is to duplicate the existing workflow route. Let's give this a different name because that's going to help. So let's call this advanced. And what I'm going to do is I am going to add an extra button. In actual fact, we'll have an extra stage, because I know I have from an earlier video, I have a stage here called second review, which is currently not on the workflow route. I'm going to have that in my new workflow route. So let's come down to advanced, and let's say that once we've reviewed the job, we're going to go into awaiting second review, and once we've got into second review, we're going to then go to approval. Oops. Okay, so that's one difference in my workflow route. And as another difference, I'm just going to have on my standard, I'm going to have a target date to send for approval. You know, once we've reviewed the VAT return, I want to send it for approval within 5 days. Okay, whereas on my advanced route, I am going to want my second review doing within 1 day. Save. Now let's take a look at that. So we have this existing job on the standard route. So we'll say info received. We'll say the job started. And we're going to say pass for review. Now crucially here we're going to say can send to client. This will set a target for send to client for approval. So we'll do that and we can see that that's been set for 5 days time. However, let's go into the iSealer Limited client, go to their VAT tab, and I'm actually going to say they're no longer on the standard route. Let's put them on the advanced route. That will only affect future job creation. It won't change our October job. Let's just create that next job a bit early, and let's go into the 31 January 2017 job. We can see that this job is on the advanced route. It's got the second review. And if we progress through, we'll also see, when we get there, that my reviewed can send to client button, which I perhaps should have renamed, will set a target for the second review. There we go, it's for the very next day. So that's just a quick example. Hopefully that explains the concept of a workflow route, because you'll notice we still only have one workflow system called VAT return jobs. You know, we can come in here and we can see all our VAT return jobs, or we might decide to filter it down to those that are advanced. There we go. So likewise with our dashboard widgets, we may have a dashboard widget for the VAT system, if I can find it. Yeah, so we might have a progress monitor widget overall, which has all our jobs, but you'll see now we have a couple more options. We can have a widget that just looks at our standard jobs and a widget that just looks at our advanced jobs. So, you know, that's kind of helpful. You know, we've been able to differentiate for groups of clients without creating a whole new workflow system. I've also seen it used pretty well for departments. So, for example, if within your firm, if the accounts department is separate to the audit department, you might well wish to have all those going through the one workflow system. It's certainly recommended, but you may well have two workflow routes. I hope that helps kind of explain why we have workflow routes and how you might wish to use them.